Threats shift fast. Fast demands force.
This isn't immigration. It's a battlefield.
America's border war. In theaters now.
So how many criminals did Joe Biden let into this country? Well, tonight we have the numbers, and they are worse than anyone imagined. New York City alone is harboring over 7,000 known criminal illegal aliens. Hundreds of them are murderers. Across the nation, fraud rings, terror plots, and violent predators are embedded in American communities, all of them welcomed under Joe Biden's open border policy. And the question nobody in Washington wants to answer is this: what happens when a government imports civilizations fundamentally incompatible with a free society? Well, Congressman Brandon Gill asked the question every American parent is thinking. Why are we bringing people into the United States from parts of the globe where predatory abuse of children is considered culturally acceptable? It's not rhetoric, this is reality. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt revealed that in Minnesota, 86 people have been charged in a massive fraud scheme. Of those 86, 78 are Somali nationals, refugees who came here claiming to free persecution, then turned around and robbed American taxpayers blind. New York City, over 7,000 known criminal aliens are being protected right now. Murderers, predators, gang members, all shielded by sanctuary policies. Afghan nationals brought in under Operation Allies Welcome have plotted terror attacks in Fairfax and Oklahoma. Venezuelan narco-terror networks are flooding American streets with drugs that kill our children. This is not immigration. This is an invasion dressed up as compassion, and Americans are dying because of it. We have some breaking news, though, on the financial front. As Biden's global chaos crashes into American cities, the smart money is moving very fast. Silver just broke through to new record highs, and insiders are piling into one company before the rest of the market catches on. AmeriCorps Resources, ticker AMCOF in the United States and AMCO in Canada, has locked down the historic Trinity Silver Project. It's in Nevada. Newmont, one of the largest mining companies on the planet, took a stake in that deal. Now, this is not speculation. This is a signal. The stock is still under 25 cents with 28 million ounces of historical silver data in the ground. When chaos reigns, hard assets win. You can get the full breakdown at the link in the description, and we thank them for sponsoring this program. So here is what the Trump administration is doing about it. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announced the most aggressive immigration crackdown in American history, a travel ban on 19 countries, refugee admissions essentially at zero, all asylum adjudications paused, special immigrant visas paused, the same mechanism Biden used to fly in thousands of unvetted Afghans. And for the first time ever, green cards issued to nationals from countries of concern are being re-examined, every single one. President Trump made it clear if criminals were naturalized under Biden, he will denaturalize them. Reverse migration is now the official policy. Get them out. Every dangerous entrant removed, every NGO racket dismantled, every narco-terrorist group targeted with lethal force. Let's go first to Congressman Brandon Gill.
Case obvious. The question really isn't about how thorough was our vetting or were these people vetted properly. Obviously, they were not. That's why we're having terrorist attacks within our own borders. The real question is, why were they brought into the country to begin with? In other words, why are we bringing people into the United States from parts of the globe, for instance, where pederastic rape is considered culturally acceptable? I mean, that is utterly suicidal. We have to decide with our immigration policies, does this benefit the American people? And in this case, obviously it doesn't. The question really isn't
obviously. Here's more from the press secretary earlier today. Our cameras were in the room, captured this moment. Man, what does not add to our nation's character?
off American. I'll tell you what does not add to our nation's character and integrity is refugees who come here under the alleged plight of asylum and fleeing persecution and then come to the United States to abuse our system and rip off American taxpayers. And as I pointed out, the New York Times, to their credit, it was about 6 months too late, but they did write about how Somali immigrants in Minnesota have been ripping off American taxpayers. In fact, 86 people have been charged in a rampant and widespread fraud scheme spanning multiple programs in Minnesota. Of those 86, 78 of those people are Somali, 91% of them charged. So far, 59 of those people have been convicted for their roles in fraud plots that have stolen $1 billion from taxpayers. In one scheme, and this is egregious, a nonprofit and its affiliates with these Somali migrants claimed to have fed tens of thousands of American children during the pandemic. They were reimbursed for those meals by taxpayers. However, federal prosecutors found that almost all of those meals were never even delivered to hungry children. In fact, those organizations' leaders spent the money on houses, luxury cars, and real estate in Turkey and Kenya. Another scheme involved hundreds of organizations who were reimbursed for services that were supposed to help people at risk of homelessness. Once again, those services were never provided. All of this has happened under Democrat leadership in a Democrat-run state where these refugees, these migrants are coming to the United States. They are abusing our system. They are draining our resources that should be going to law-abiding, taxpayer-funded, tax-paying Americans. And this president is not going to put up with it anymore.
No, the American people aren't going to put up with it either. Here's more from the press secretary on pausing the adjudications on asylum.
Under the Biden, we have paused all asylum adjudications. And then, of course, the special immigrant visas, which we know many Afghans utilize to come into the country under the Biden administration, have also now been paused. And I would just point out one more time that the Biden administration was responsible for the original sin that led to this tragic killing last week, the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. He was responsible for Operation Allies Welcome, which is something that this White House and the people behind this podium in the last administration fully and wholeheartedly embraced. And they assured the American people there would be no risk or no harm to them. And as I just laid out for you in those many examples, that unfortunately and tragically has not turned out to be the truth. Just ask the families of these two brave National Guardsmen, one who is no longer with us and one who continues to fight for his life. So I know the president is wholeheartedly focused on this effort, and I think unfortunately these events do remind us why it's so important that the president's mass deportation operation continues. We have paused.
Yeah, it does need to continue. All of it. Get them all out. Here's more. 6 hours ago, press secretary, past presidents have failed to ensure
illegal. In the wake of last week's atrocity, it is more important than ever to finish carrying out the president's mass deportation operation. America cannot allow millions upon millions of unvetted illegal aliens to be rewarded with amnesty after they broke our nation's laws to come here. They must go back to their home countries. It is also essential to immediately address the massive fraud and corruption that has been going on for decades in other aspects of our immigration system, most notably when it comes to asylum claims. Millions of people who have come here under false pretenses are told blatant lies now enjoy temporary legal status. President Trump is ending this scam as well. And I would point out that the Democrats have tried to block this administration from doing so at every turn with lawsuit after lawsuit. The hard truth is that even when it comes to our legal immigration system, past presidents have failed to ensure that all prospective citizens love America, will add value and contribute to our communities, and will assimilate into our culture. Leaders have a duty to defend and advance the interests of their own people, not foreign nationals. Leaders also have a duty to preserve the integrity and character of our nation's national identity. That is why President Trump is more committed than ever to fully restoring American sovereignty by keeping our borders secure, removing all illegal alien invaders, and rebuilding a legal immigration system that makes sense and benefits our country. President Trump has no higher responsibility than to defend our homeland and our people, and he will never waver in doing so.
Thank God he's president of the United States. Can you imagine if Kamala Harris was president right now? Whew. The Trump administration has done more to limit migration, both illegal and legal, than any administration in history.
And I'll just walk you. I would add that the Trump administration has done more to limit migration, both illegal and legal, than any administration in history. And I'll just walk you through some of the actions that we have taken thus far. Number one, the Trump administration issued a travel ban for 19 countries, including Afghanistan, special immigrant visas, which is a legal pathway to get here, which we know many Afghans have utilized to come into the country, have now been paused since the tragic shooting last week. Refugee admissions were suspended for Afghans from this administration on day one, and refugee admissions into the country right now are essentially at zero, with the exception of Afrikaners fleeing persecution in South Africa. The State Department has also heightened their scrutiny and vetting of all visas and have revoked visas, as you know, for those who do not align with our country's national interests. The Secretary of State has the right to do that, and we've taken unprecedented action to do just that. We are also now pausing all asylum adjudications for additional vetting as well. And so additional actions I don't have to read out for you today, but I would just remark that the president has made tremendous progress on this front. And it's why it's so crucial that we not only secure the borders, which the president did in record time. We have zero illegal aliens entering into the country month after month. But we also are taking a look at those who are already in the interior of our country and removing them if they are here illegally, and also taking a look at these visas. Again, having a visa in the United States is not a right; it is a privilege. And the Secretary of State, if you are deemed contrary to our country's foreign national interests, has the right to revoke that privilege. I would add that the Trump administration has done more to limit migration, both.
Moving right along here, talking about the narco-terrorist groups.
I have a statement to read for you here. President Trump and Secretary Hegseth have made it clear that presidentially designated narco-terrorist groups are subject to lethal targeting in accordance with the laws of war. With respect to the strikes in question on September 2nd, Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated. And I would just add one more point to remind the American public why these lethal strikes are taking place. Because this administration has designated these narco-terrorists as foreign terrorist organizations. The president has a right to take them out if they are threatening the United States of America and if they are bringing illegal narcotics that are killing our citizens at a record rate, which is what they are doing. And under the previous administration, there was enough fentanyl trafficked into our country to kill every American man, woman, and child many times over. And so that's why you've seen a drastic difference in this administration's policy with respect to the last. And it's one of the many reasons the American public reelected this president and support this Secretary of War in conducting these strikes.
Moving right along here, we have some more here. Laura Logan posted this. And again, what is the administration doing to hold these people accountable? 24 hours ago, Stephen Miller, the Democrat Party via the Biden-Harris terrorist administration. That's what he called them. The Biden-Harris terrorist administration devised a scheme. Oh, my goodness.
Which gives them a social it for your audience perfectly, Sean. This was not a loophole. The Biden administration, Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, devised a scheme to fly illegal aliens into the country and then to escort them en masse across the border by the millions, and to give them something known as parole, which gives them a work permit, which gives them a social security number, which gives them access to the voting booth. This was the plan all along, to get them here illegally so they can get free government benefits, get hooked to welfare, and be able to participate in American elections. This was an attack on democracy by the Democrat Party. It's the same attack that we see, Sean, when you have California, a sanctuary state, that is refusing to turn over even illegal alien criminals and gang members to ICE. So these are illegal aliens in California who have been arrested by California police, by California law enforcement for serious crimes, for crimes against children, for felonies. for crimes that threaten public safety, and they are refusing to hand these criminal illegal aliens over to ICE. Instead, they're freeing them back into the cities to offend and offend again. By any definition, what California is doing is criminal. It is a violation of our laws. It is one of the most heinous things that I have seen in my entire visit for your audience perfectly.
There's some red meat for you. Moving right along. So much to get through here in this segment. Here is Tricia McLaughlin, Assistant DHS Secretary. It is now confirmed New York City is harboring 7,169 known criminal illegals, including hundreds of, oh my.
The worst of the war of justice. We're seeing that these criminal illegal aliens are exiting the jails and going back onto New York or Chicago or these other sanctuary streets to re-perpetuate their crimes. Today, in New York City's jails are 7,169 criminal illegal aliens. We're talking about hundreds of murderers, hundreds of sexual predators, drug traffickers, the worst of the worst. Dan Goldman and these other sanctuary city politicians, they should agree to hand over those individuals, honor those detainers, and then we won't have to flood the zone with our ICE law enforcement. We won't have to put those men and women on the ground because we will get these vicious criminals out of New York City's jails.
Right. It's a
war of justice. We're seeing that these criminal.
Wow. Let's keep going here. President Trump on reverse migration.
Air Force One.
What do you mean by reverse migration?
It means get people out that are in our country. Get them out of here. I want to get them out. We got a lot of people in our country that shouldn't be here, and they came in through Biden. And he was the worst president in the history of our country. But the single biggest thing he did was allow millions of people into our country that shouldn't be here. Drug dealers, prisons were opened up and allowed to come into our country. You take a look at the people that were allowed to come into our country. We're paying a big price for it, and we will for years to come, including the recent killer of two wonderful National Guards people. And I'll tell you what, that animal should not have been allowed to come into our country.
What do you mean by reverse migration?
It means...
Oh, but he came into the country because Joe Biden let him in. Here's more from the president 24 hours ago on Air Force One.
Mr. President, you said that you might denaturalize some American citizens. Can you talk about...
You mean people that are in here that shouldn't be here?
That became Americans. Are you trying
Well, we'll
to
see. I mean, yeah, if we have criminals that came into our country and they were naturalized maybe through Biden or somebody that didn't know what they were doing. If I have the power to do it, I'm not sure that I do, but if I do, I would denaturalize absolutely.
Mr. President, you said that you might...
We got some more audio here. This is actually more audio 24 hours ago. How long does your administration plan to pause the asylum? This is President Trump gaggling Air Force One, November 30th of this year. Audio only. So
Plenty of...
Your administration made a lot of moves throughout the last few days after we know that Afghan national is the suspected shooter of these National Guardsmen.
Yeah, the people that shouldn't be in our country, that's right.
So you announced that asylum...
And that includes Somalians and it includes plenty of others.
How long does your administration plan to pause asylum into the U.S.?
I think a long time.
Can you give any kind of time? What's
we
a
don't
long
want those
time?
people. We have enough problems. We don't want those people.
Is that a year, 2 years?
No time limit.
And then
but it could be a long time.
You said that...
We don't want those people. Do you understand that?
I understand.
You understand it?
I understand
Who
what
are
you're
you
saying.
with?
I'm with News Nation. So
Okay,
my
News
name's Libby
Nation.
D.
News Nation. Great.
Thank you.
Let me just tell you something. We don't want those people. Does that make sense? You know why we don't want them? Because many of them are no good, and they shouldn't be in our country.
What do you mean by those people? Can you clarify?
People from different countries that are not friendly to us and countries that are out of control themselves. Countries like Somalia that have virtually no government, no military, no police. All they do is go around killing each other. Then they come into our country and tell us how to run our country. We don't want them.
Your administration.
Who do we know from Somalia, right? Checking in on One America News. District Judge James Boasberg has issued an order demanding certain Trump administration officials file affidavits. Order issued Friday. Targets involve every official involved in the decision to carry out mass deportation flights under the Alien Enemies Act. This District Judge Boasberg.
Administration of District Judge James Boasberg issues an order demanding that certain Trump administration officials file affidavits. The order was issued Friday and targets every official involved in the decision to carry out mass deportation flights under the Alien Enemies Act. This comes after Boasberg accused the administration of ignoring his order to halt the flights while they were in midair. Boasberg has said he will be moving forward with criminal contempt proceedings against administration officials.
Oh, really?
Despite this, several congressional GOP have called for Boasberg's removal from office for alleged misconduct and other allegations. District Judge.
Another radical judge trying to rein in the executive branch from a jurisdiction that he certainly shouldn't be. Here we have more. This is Secretary Noem 24 hours ago. Representative Eric Swalwell writes, though, "Hi, Secretary Noem. I'd like to introduce you to Representative Raskin and Benny Thompson. Are you going to be you're going to be spending a lot of time with them soon." Let's hear what Christy Noem has to say.
Sending detain. Secretary Noem, let me turn to my final topic. In a filing in federal court this week, the Justice Department said that when the administration was ordered back in March to stop sending detained migrants to a mega prison in El Salvador, you personally made the final call to continue the flights anyway. Is that correct? Do you acknowledge that?
You know, we have court filings going on and decisions that are going forward. I'll let them continue to play through that process.
But did you make that
call? I'm proud of President Trump and his leadership and the decisions that we have made. And the decisions that are made on deportations, where flights go and when they go, are my decision at the Department of Homeland Security. And we will continue to do the right thing and ensure that dangerous criminals are removed.
So that you're saying that it was your decision. It sounds like the judge wanted to ensure that people were given due process. He said very clearly, quote, any plane containing these folks that is going to take off or is in the air needs to be returned to the United States. But those people need to be returned to the United States. However that's accomplished, I leave to you. But this is something that you need to make sure is complied with immediately. Did you defy the court's order, Madam Secretary?
No, Kristen, and that's one of the things that we continue to face across this country is activist judges who are using radical decisions that have no standing and no grounds to try to stop what President Trump is doing to protect America and to keep us safe. So we'll continue to do the right thing, continue to work and do protect Americans no matter what radical judge comes out and tries to stop us. We'll do the right thing and know that we're on the side of the law, the side of the Constitution, and the side of the American people.
And the right side of history, I should point out. Yeah. Biden was allowing our country to be infiltrated with people that we didn't know who they were. We could have up, she says, Christy Noem, we could have up to 100,000 people came in from Afghanistan that may be here to do us harm, and President Trump is absolutely dedicated to getting them out. She was asked, will you deport people with pending asylum claims? She says, well, we will. If they should be, absolutely, yes, we're going to go through every single person who has a pending asylum claim. Pam Bondi on the Venezuelan narco-terrorists.
President Trump, we are committed to taking out these narco-terrorists. President Trump is, Marco Rubio is, our entire administration. And that goes back to Joe Biden letting these foreign terrorist organizations walk into our country, come into our country through Mexico. They are narco-terrorists. What you're showing on the screen right now are terrorists, and they are being blown up. We are not going to agree. You know, these Democrats don't want to agree with us. It's crazy. The drugs that are flowing into our country from these terrorists are killing our children. And if Donald Trump won't protect, if the Democrats won't protect our children, Donald Trump will. By any means we need to within the legal realm of our society. And that's what we're doing. As far as a classified memo, I'm not going to discuss that, but I will say Venezuelan drug dealers need to tread very, very carefully, because if you are a narco-terrorist, if you are a TDA, we are coming after you. President Trump has made that crystal clear. No more will they be coming into our country thanks to Joe Biden. No more will they be killing our kids with this poison that is flowing into our country from Venezuela, from Mexico, from all of these other countries, fentanyl being made in China. That's what this is about, protecting Americans.
So President Trump was asked about criminals who gained citizenship under Biden. His answer left no room for doubt. If I have the power to do it, I would denaturalize absolutely. Then he explained what reverse migration means. It means get people out that are in our country. Get them out of here. We've got a lot of people in our country that should not be here, and they came in through Biden. We're paying the price, a big one for it. The era of imported chaos is over. The floodgates are closing, and the criminals Biden welcomed are about to learn what American justice looks like. So the story matters because it exposes the single greatest betrayal of the American people in modern history. Joe Biden did not just open the border. He opened America to criminal networks, terrorist ideologies, and predatory cultures that have no place in a free society. He flooded our cities with people who exploit our systems, harm our children, and kill our citizens, and he did it on purpose. It was not incompetence, it was policy. A doctrine that says America exists to be remade through mass importation of foreign population with no loyalty to our laws, our values, or our people. Well, President Trump shutting it down. Travel bans, deportation, denaturalizations, lethal targeting of narco-terrorists. The fight to reclaim the homeland has begun. So here's my question. Should sanctuary cities lose all federal funding when they cooperate? Until they cooperate with deportations? Yes or no? Answer in the comments. And if you want to support our work, grab your gear. The Next News merch shop, you'll find it linked down below.